And I'm still asking that He please the bread of life. Amen? The devil is trying to make us to fail with technology, but however, is a loser. Amen?
Amen.
We are sorry for the delayment because of the technology that was somehow. But however, we are going to continue. Let me invite Pastor.
Good evening, everyone.
Amen.
Before I begin, let me answer one question that I received yesterday. It says, how do we get the Holy Spirit into us if we are not asking God to send or give us? Although this topic is still ahead, we can answer it. I want to read from, if you have a book in your phone, you have a book entitled Counsels for the Church, on chapter 15. Reading on the last paragraph. If you want, you can start from the first paragraph up to the last. It's long, but answer can come from the last paragraph. In this book, Ellen White says, I was shown that if God's people make no efforts on their part. Are you hearing that? So how do we receive the Holy Spirit? It is God's people on themselves to do their part for the Spirit to come upon them. It says, if God's people make no efforts on their part, but wait for the refreshing to come upon them and remove their wrongs and correct their errors, if they depend upon that to cleanse them from filthiness of the flesh and the spirit, and fit them to engage in the loud cry of the third angel, they will be found wanting. So there are a few things that are written here that Ellen White mentions to us. Number one, I find, is that God's people must come together and do their part in matters of soul winning. Apart from that, they must make sure that they remove their wrongs. If somebody is smoking, God cannot come and blow a cigarette out of the mouth. It is me that should remove that. And this is what Ellen White is saying here. They must remove their wrongs and correct their errors if they depend upon that to cleanse, if they depend upon that to cleanse them from filthiness of the flesh and the spirit, and fit them to engage in the loud cry of the third angel, they will be found wanting. The refreshing or power of God comes only on those who have prepared themselves for it by doing the work which God bids them to do, namely, cleansing themselves from all filthiness of the flesh and the spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. So, for us to receive the Holy Spirit, the first thing we need to do is to search ourselves thoroughly. And then when we find a fault in ourselves, we must be able to say, Lord, I have seen my problem, and I ask for strength from you to be able to live this that I love most. And then God will come in full force upon us to help us. We can find also the same answer if you have in your book, in your phone, a book entitled Acts of the Apostles. On a topic that is saying the gift of the Spirit, chapter 5. We are not going to read all of it, we will read only the last part. The last part says, every worker who follows the example of Christ will be prepared to receive and use the power that God has promised to his church for the ripening of earth's harvest. Morning by morning, as the heralds of the gospel kneel before the Lord and renew their vows and consecration to him, he will grant them the presence of his Spirit with its reviving, sanctifying power as they go forth to the day's duties, that is going out doing evangelism. They have the assurance that the unseen agents of the Holy Spirit enables them to be laborers together with God. So what Ellen White is mentioning here is that apart from cleansing our own souls, we must be found to be on the ground winning souls, Christ. And then God will recognize the need that you cannot work without the power of the Holy Spirit. As you are doing work, moving up and down, then God will pour his Spirit upon you and me for us to accomplish his goal in the winning of souls. So that is the only way we can win, we can have the Holy Spirit upon us. Now the question is, why are we not receiving? Maybe it's because we are not doing what God wants us to do, or what God has said we must do. And that is winning souls, cleansing our soul temples, ironing out our wrongs. If we had to read the whole Acts, it also says, during the time when the disciples were receiving the Holy Spirit, they had enclosed themselves in the upper room. One, they were ironing out all their differences. Do we have differences here against one another? If we have, we need to iron those out if at all we want to remain filled with the Holy Spirit. I hope I have answered the question. Let's go now.